One Piece. This is One Piece chapter 1141, An Older Woman.
Gertrude.
Gerd.
Yeah.
Last we left off with One Piece, we actually have a cover page, and it's been revealed that Ulti and Page One have been captured by Who's Who is now torturing them for some reason, even though they were on the same crew not too long ago. Who's Who, Page One is already beat up, and Ulti is like chained to a wall where I guess they're throwing swords at her, you know, for funsies, I suppose. Yeah, that's the cover page for the week. We move on to the chapter proper, where we open with last week on One Piece, because we didn't actually cover it last week because we were gone. We got to know the rest of the Holy Knights. We got to meet a couple others. I'm pulling it up right now because I'm trying to remember them. But there was a weird dragon guy, and his name is Saint Killingham. And there's another Holy Knight who's just in his boxers named Saint Summers. And they've arrived at Elbaf, recalling Shamrock and taking his place, essentially. So that'll be fun. They're planning on kidnapping some giant children and taking them to the Holy Land of Marijoa. And they basically have to sail them back. So they have to do it the hard way, essentially. And they're right by where Chopper is. I think they're by the school where Chopper, Robin, and Saul are. So, rough times for them. Meanwhile, Luffy and Zoro managed to get the key from Scopper Gaban after fighting them for a little while. After Luffy went Gear 5 and Zoro got serious with his swords and, you know, his hockey thing, Gaban decided to yield and give them the key and say, hey, if Elbaf is done if Elbaf is still around by the end of this arc, come see me for our routine post-arc One Piece lore drop. So that'll be fun to reunite with Scopper afterwards. And now we open with this chapter. Everybody's leaving the castle with Rodo, the two giants that were injured by the Holy Knights, and I guess they're heading back to Loki, basically. Meanwhile, we cut back to Frankie and Ridley, who are walking through the Atom Jewel trees. They explain that they live on the branches of the Jewel Atom tree, and each branch has its own history. It has a long history of its own. There was a village called, for example, there's a village called Hagen on one of the branches, but lightning struck that branch and it started a fire. And even though the branch gets old, the fire just never goes out. So in order to stop it from spreading, they had to cut off the entire village, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, basically the weaknesses of Elbaf is essentially lightning and fire. So, pretty important to not have your entire country burned down because of fire and lightning, but whatevs. We cut back to the feast in the Western Village where Usopp is fucking trashed. Usopp is sloshed out. Nami has returned to the West Village, which means Luffy and Zoro have gone off to find Loki. And Usopp introduces Ja Rule, the king, to Nami. And Usopp's like, what's your favorite type of woman? And Ja Rule answers with an older woman. But that doesn't exist for Ja Rule. Because, an older woman doesn't exist for Ja Rule because he's literally the oldest person in One Piece currently.
Shit.
And Usopp slaps the shit out of the sword that's embedded in Ja Rule's skull. And the rest of the giants are trying to hold him back. But he's too trash. Usopp is wilding out right now. He's going crazy. So, everybody's just noting how like Usopp's having a great time because this is a lifelong dream for him. So, he's having a great time.
I
Sanji,
like that acknowledgement a lot.
yeah. Meanwhile, Sanji is looking for Gerd. So, we cut back to Gerd, speak of the devil, who is treating the two giants that were injured at the castle. And she basically dominatrixes Roto into telling her what's been going on. As Roto is trying to buy time for Luffy and Zoro to do their business with Loki. So that'd be fun. Speaking of which, back at the underworld, Luffy and Zoro arrive at Loki with the key. They find him beat up as the Holy Knights left him. And they notice he's still alive. So, Luffy's about to let him free. And Zoro is starting to warn him against it. Because, all we've ever heard is that, we've only ever heard bad things about this guy. And we get here and there's just like a struggle that seems to have happened here. So we have to find out what's been going on. We got to talk to him before we free him. So Zoro kicks him awake. And Loki, for a quick second, it wakes up. And Zoro notices that the injuries are real and he doesn't seem to be acting. So, Zoro surmises that, he actually is hurt. And then as Loki's like, what do you think you're doing? He just like slumps over and gets knocked out again. And Zoro's like, if he's dead, then that means he wasn't meant to survive. And Luffy's just like, that's fucked up, bro. Jeez.
Yeah.
But Zoro makes a little compromise. He said, look, we'll unlock the cuffs, but keep one of his legs locked up with the Sea Prism Stone. So, we can talk to him without any fear of him using an unknown devil fruit ability that he may have. Luffy tries to suggest that they call for Chopper, but Chopper is way too far. He's in the library right now, so he wouldn't be able to get there even if they called him. But yeah, Zoro's like, hey man, if they find out we freed Loki, they're gonna kick us out of here. And Luffy's like, I don't care. If that happens, it happens. I'll go find the doctor, and we need food. We need meat, so I'm gonna go get it. Zoro suggests the animals that were knocked out, but Luffy made friends with those animals, so he will not eat those animals. And as they're arguing, we see a ship falling from the sky, and it is the new giant pirates. There's Hajrudin, Roto, Stanson, I think his name is, and Goldberg, and Gerd, and they brought Sanji with them. That's nice. So the monster trio is all there.
Which is rare. Very rare for an arc for them to be
starting
all
off
three
together.
of them present. Yeah.
Yeah, they usually split up between the other groups as well. So yeah.
That must say a lot for Loki's caliber.
Yeah. Imagine they all well, we'll get there. We'll get there. I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, they didn't have time to like get on one of the island clouds, so they're basically careening towards the ground at full speed. But Luffy uses a gum balloon to break their fall, and yeah, they send them flying, and they get injured anyway because Luffy overestimates his buoyancy. So, but the giant pirates aren't pissed. They're like, thanks anyway, whatever, you tried. But they start yelling at Luffy to not free Loki. And, they told him that, like, they made Roto tell them everything. And they said, it's like, we can't trust Loki. He's a cunning, cruel, vicious, backstabbing, conniving villain. And that he's known him ever since he was a kid. I just noticed this little panel of Luffy, like, as he's telling him all this. Like, because they already freed him. So they're, like, listening to all of this. He's like, hey, look, if he told you anything that made him sound sympathetic, then he's lying. He's the kind of beast who would kill a so-called friends at a moment's notice. He is an enemy to the world. And Zoro mentions that it's too late. And then we get a crazy 2-page spread of Loki standing up in full view. He seems to basically dwarf the other giants in size.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
I think he's way bigger than them.
I think so too. It's just that it's not confirmed, but like I do I do agree.
Yeah, so he gets up and everybody's like, fuck, he's Loki. And Luffy is surprised that he's not passed out. And Loki starts to go for that weapon that he was carrying at his back. And Hydrogen warns him to take his hand off of Ragnir, which is, I guess, the name of the weapon that Loki wields. But one thing is that there's still one shackle on Loki, so he can't use his devil fruit ability yet. But that weapon seems to be bad news if it has like kind of a name that seems to be a big deal. But that's where the chapter ends in one of the... Oh, man, so good. I don't know. But Josh, what did you think about One Piece chapter 1141?
This is a good chapter. I wonder what Loki's about to pick up. They called it the Ragnir, but I wonder, like, is it a battle axe? Is it a hammer?
Yeah.
Is it a...
I'm trying to see because I definitely see... Oh, I think it's a hammer.
It looks hammer
because you can see it in that 1-2 page spread where they first get to the underworld. You can kind of see a hammer-esque thing. It has like... It looks like a cube at the end of it. So I think it's a hammer.
What if it looks like Usopp's 5-ton hammer or something?
Oh my God. I think that's what they're going to go for.
How cool would that be?
What if it's also a fake hammer?
No way.
I mean, Loki, trickster god, Usopp, little prankster himself.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I just think that I don't think that they're being over dramatic. I think he's really like a dangerous person because their reaction. All right, look, I know that it's the funny thing and like that's like One Piece's comedy to be serious and then be silly about it. But like, there's too much buildup. I feel like for Loki, he's got to be problematic. He killed his dad. He fucking wrecked the castle. They have him chained up.
He fought Shanks.
You know. Yeah. So.
And it's implied that Shanks beating Loki is what made him Emperor of the Sea. That's what's
is that implied?
That's what's implied because around the same time that Shanks beat Loki is around the same time he became an emperor. Like that's the timeline.
I thought this was recent. Like this happened.
No, it happened.
Like
it happened like
ago.
5 years ago in One Piece, like One Piece time.
Oh damn! I forgot that already.
And Shanks became an emperor 5 years ago, One Piece time.
If Loki picks up a fake fucking hammer, I'm gonna be really disappointed.
I don't think that's what's going to happen, but it would be. There is like a thing of parallels between what Usopp has lied about and what is actually real. Like the giant goldfish in Little Garden is a lie Usopp told Kaya way back in the day. There's certain things that Usopp has lied about that is actually real on the Grand Line. So,
what if Loki is everything?
Oh, is that what you meant?
What if Loki is everything that Usopp's lies are? Like everything that he was saying about himself is actually Loki.
He's a brave warrior of the sea like Loki. I don't know. Who's to say?
He looks fucking...
Yeah, Loki's about to ruin all of Elbaf. I think he's gonna like destroy a lot of parts of it and get Usopp really upset. I think I've been trying to figure out what is Usopp's connection. This is his arc. I mean, not really, but like I think it's his arc as far as like how the wedding cake island shit with Big Mom, that was like, you know, Sanji's arc. He like, but without it being so focused on Usopp himself, I think a lot of things are just gonna happen to him and they're gonna focus it on his perspective or his resolve to the situations. Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't see them making it centered around Usopp just because it's too random. But I think I think he's gonna do great things. So I don't know. Brian, what were your thoughts?
RGC for me.
Oh, surprising.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
I don't know. This was just a fun little chapter. I liked. I always love Luffy and Zoro interactions, like just them both just kind of working together. It doesn't happen as often in One Piece as I wished it would, especially post time skip because both of them are so strong. But seeing them kind of like their difference in approach it, even though they're like very similar, like they share the same brain cell.
Mm-hmm.
It was just nice to see Zoro kind of being like actually being cautious for once, and Luffy trying to like convince him to
Yeah.
just open it up.
I think it's interesting that Zoro feels like he's being like overly cautious, like purposefully so, which is very interesting for Zoro. Where like he's usually the voice of reason when it's just the two of them, but like not like this, where he's like very much insisting on a lot of caution lately.
Yeah, especially when it comes to Loki.
Yeah, and I wonder what's going on in his head that's making him particularly like very cautious about this.
I mean, so Luffy and Zoro are very similar, right? So what if Luffy sensed Loki immediately once he arrived on Elbaf, and he knew that he was strong, and Zoro probably feels the same way, but instead of being like Luffy, he's kind of like, all right, well, this guy feels really fucking strong, and everybody thinks he's crazy. It just goes to show like Luffy doesn't really care what people say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Zoro feels the same power coming off of Loki, and he also takes into consideration what people are saying about him.
Yeah.
Luffy, on the other hand, he feels how strong he is, and he's just like, whatever. If he's bad, I'll beat his ass.
I agree with you guys where this is definitely like weird for Zoro. Where like especially since like I've been reading like the series over, and Zoro usually don't give a fuck. He'll usually argue with Luffy over both of them. Like they both won't give a fuck in different ways.
Yeah.
Or they'll make situations worse. So that's where they kind of bump heads, but also are alike because they won't really get in each other's way. So I wonder if Zoro being overly cautious is just instrument of Oda just using his characters a certain way just for the sake of it, or if this means something, if there's any real meaning to this.
Yeah, I would like to think there's a meaning behind it. Because there's also like
is he gonna spaz on Luffy eventually? Like, yo, bro, we ran into literal monsters and got saved by a giant fucking robot from 1,000 years ago or something like that. You need to be careful, Luffy. Like,
yeah, he might.
I know.
I could see it.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not invincible, my nigga. Gold Roger got caught and died by regular people.
Well, Roger turned himself in, and they know that. But I will say, yeah, I think there's definitely something to also a point being made by Scopper when he was thinking about his days with Roger and trying to be the voice of reason and trying to stop Roger from doing stupid shit. So, I know we've made like a lot of parallels between Scopper and Sanji, but there's probably like a little bit of a parallel in that regard with Scopper and Zoro of being like kind of the level-headed guy or attempting to be the level-headed guy in the crew. Even though that's still Sanji more than anybody. But I don't know. Did you have other thoughts, Brian?
I just wanted to say like this big, like, I don't know, half spread of Loki. One of the coolest panels in One Piece.
Yeah.
It just, like, I don't know, using Luffy as a scale to size in this world is just so fucking cool to me. I don't know why. It's like, see, like, if you go from the beginning of the journey to like now, it kind of like seeing Luffy like going through all like this journey, and having him be like the I don't know what's it called, the lead, and having him be the person that you take this journey with. um you see a lot of cool things, and then seeing him here look so small compared to this fucking behemoth of a fucking giant. Something about it just feels so, I don't know what's the word. um it's, I don't know, nostalgic, is that? No.
It's definitely like a scaling technique. Like, I think this is one of the things that Toriyama influenced Oda with, because in old Dragon Ball, he used to do this all the time. He would have like way bigger characters versus Kid Goku. And I think that Luffy being one of the few characters that is actual human height is definitely an intentional choice for this reason specifically. So that we can understand as people the scale that Luffy is constantly operating under. Because like Luffy's like
Luffy
5'7".
is always fighting against small. Like he always looks small compared to the people that he's fighting.
Yeah, Luffy's average height. He's like 5'8", 5'9". Like Zoro's maybe like 6 feet, maybe a little less. The tallest person on the crew, I believe, is Jinbei or Frankie.
Isn't it Brooke?
Brooke's like 9 feet tall, but like now that Frankie's a giant robot and Jinbei's a giant fishman guy, he's probably like second or third tallest. But
no way. I think Brooke is taller than Jinbei.
Brooke is 9 feet.
Jinbei's like stout, man.
Let me see. Let's see. Because Oda has heights for these guys. Okay.
Yeah, if you don't count the afro, he might be shorter.
Okay, so he is. I'm trying to find. I just had it. Damn. So Usopp is 5'9", Sanji is 5'10", Robin is 6'2".
Damn, she's tall.
Yeah.
Robin is 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Luffy is 5'9" post time skip. Zoro is 5'11".
Nah, Nami. I mean,
Nami is
Robin is huge.
Yeah, Nami is 5'7". Nami's my size. Me and Nami have the same height. Usopp is 5'9". Chopper is 2'11".
Yeah.
Robin is 6'2". Frankie's 7'10", which is short for One Piece. He's shorter than I thought he'd be. Pre-time skip, he was 7'5". So okay. Brooke is 9'1". Wow. Jinbei is 9'11".
What?
So he is the tallest member of the crew.
So he's for sure the center of this crew. He would for sure be the big man.
Yeah, he's big man Blastoise. Not only is he 9'11", he's fucking stout as fuck.
Yeah, he's fucking built like a fridge.
Right. His nickname should be Fridge.
Fridge Man Jinbei.
Yeah.
The Iceman.
The
I
Iceman.
had no idea he was that tall.
Yeah. But anyway. Any other thoughts, Brian?
No.
Okay. I want to start off by saying I agree with you. This panel is fucking sick.
Oh, yeah. Straight to fire.
Oda is in his bag. Like, he's been waiting to draw Loki. He had to have been. The way he draws Loki is pretty fucking rad. And that's why I think, there's just so much expectation being built up. And for a lot of characters who are known to be bad, quote unquote, a lot of the time, it is just like not what it seems. There's usually something deeper within everybody who is proclaimed to be or widely known as bad. So I'm still holding out a belief that Loki is maybe not good, but he's definitely not a bad person. I would imagine that if anything, he's a little misguided because there's something to him vehemently turning down the Holy Knights that you can't be an entire bad guy and do that in this world. You know, there's got to be something about like the way he has disdain for them means he knows something, and he very much knows like they're not to be trusted, and neither is the world government at large. So there's got to be something there. I'm excited to see what Loki is about in many different ways, whether of his battle prowess to his devil fruit ability. A giant with a devil fruit ability is crazy.
Yeah. Maybe the king was gonna sell out Elbaf.
Yeah, that's the prevailing theory, is that King Harold was actually going to join the Holy Knights. And that Loki got really pissed and fought him to the death about it.
Yeah. That's got to be the twist.
Yeah. But Loki's got to be strong. I mean, he has ties to the ancient giants. It's probably why if he is bigger than the giants, that is the reason why, is that ancient giants were just so much bigger.
Zorro said that he looks large. He's bigger than the usual giant. I realized, like I noticed he said that earlier. So yeah,
he said that this giant's huge.
Yes,
which they already come huge. So
yeah,
to remark it like that. Oh man, I can't wait. This is definitely a hammer. I'm seeing it more now. And you know, I can't help but draw the parallel to Thor's hammer. You know, Thor and Loki.
It's got to be. Yeah.
There's got to be a brother. His brother was Thor. He's using Thor's hammer because either he killed Thor or Thor died. Tragically.
Oh, he had a brother named Thor?
I'm guessing. I don't know if this is confirmed.
Right, yeah.
This is the only reason he would be wielding a hammer. It is named Ragnir. It's not Mjolnir.
Yeah.
But, you know. I can't wait. I'm so glad One Piece is not on break next week. It's not my RGC though. It's close. I did really enjoy this chapter. I thought it was very fun, and I'm finding a lot of the dynamics to be interesting. I definitely know that Oda is, by having this little moment with Usopp, I like to think that he's saying, I haven't forgotten him. You know, like, don't worry, guys.
That's what
I haven't forgotten.
He also reminded us that this was his, like, one of his dreams, like, to come here.
Yeah,
so.
I would be, you know, it wouldn't be Oda if he just like forgot how impactful this was to Usopp.
Yeah, he had to reiterate. He reiterated it, so that gives me hope.
Yeah, so I can't imagine that. I really like the idea.
He through the fucking building, bro.
Yeah, I really like the idea that Usopp and Loki will have a very interesting dynamic together.
Yo, that would be
I can't shake that feeling that like Loki being a trickster god, being an overall deceitful person, and so is Usopp to some degree. I can't help but think those guys will be connected in some way, shape, or form. So
what if Usopp is the real Loki?
I mean,
oh my god, I just had a thought. What if Luffy and Usopp, what if Luffy and Zoro end up getting trapped down there for a good amount of this arc? Like, whatever happens here, we have like the two most powerful people on the crew taken out pretty much.
The three of them. Sanji's down there too.
Sanji's with them?
Yeah, Sanji's in the underworld.
Who's down there from the Straw Hat crew?
Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy.
Oh my god! So the three strongest members of the crew would be separated
Mm-hmm.
from the rest of the Straw Hats, meaning they would all, not that they got any pushovers, but that would kind of clear the way for some more people to kind of come through and fight against like the Holy Knights and shit.
Yeah, the Holy Knights are closest to they're closest to Robin and Chopper. By my estimation. So
Yeah, they're gonna attack the school.
Mm-hmm. Ah, man, it's just so exciting. I can't wait to see what's next.
Shit is about to pop off, yo.
Yeah, and there are 3 Holy Knights on Elbaf currently. So one of them
I would
is a
be
little
so
dragon.
I'd be so down to have Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji be out of commission for a bit. That would be so fucking cool.
Maybe Frankie could finally get a challenge. You know, Frankie's one of the few people in this series who are like undefeated in actual battle in like one-on-ones. But yeah, it was a really, really great chapter. I had a great time with One Piece, as fucking usual. Series knocks it out of the park every week, pretty much. So very excited for what's next. Gerd looks a lot like Nami in this panel, but what else is new?
Why did the Shandians and Sky People both have wings?
They don't. The Shandians must have gotten wings through either the same evolutionary practice that Skypians had, because they've been on the island for 400 years. So there's maybe some intermingling between the two.
Nah, they had wings.
The
before they
Shandians
went
currently have the current Shandians have wings.
No, the Shandians in the past had wings.
They did not
too.
have wings.
Am I seeing that wrong?
Am I seeing that wrong? Did I?
That would be weird, though. I hope that's what I thought they would.
I don't
that
think
was
they
gonna be
have
the case.
wings at this time. Or no, they do currently, but back in the day, I'm not sure that they do.
Yeah, shit. I gotta go back. That backstory was awesome. Reading it again, but we can move forward.
Yeah, that was One Piece.
Pick it up.
Great chapter.